So I've actually tried recording this a few times, and first time I did it all on the Insta360, um, and I just couldn't edit it. I didn't like the sound or anything like that. So pretty much we're going to do a walkthrough of all of our plants. We've been here for about 9 months, and a lot has changed already, but I figure I should do a video before everything changes more with stuff we've added and things. So it looks like I have an umbrella here. It's the Insta360, so it's gonna be another video of the same thing, but you can like look around instead of me just showing you specific things. So one of the things we really liked was these Creighton myrtles. We have like a whole row of them, and they're just a really pretty flower that it's a bush that can grow pretty much into a tree. People use them for hedges and stuff like that. And they have a whole row of them in there. Now I gotta hop this fence. It's our driveway, but we have the cows in our yard supposedly eating our grass. They're not doing a very quick job at it, but that's why there's a fence across our driveway. So when we moved in, we knew that there's blueberry plants on the property, and I thought it was these. Now these are called huckleberry or farkleberry, and we have a ton of them. But we found out that's not actually the blueberry plants that the guy who sold it to us was actually talking about. Because we have a few bushes right along the driveway here, which are actually normal high bush blueberries. And then there's a little trail going along there that Gabriel made, and there's a whole bunch of blueberry bushes there too. But they don't get enough sun, so I might end up transplanting them this winter and putting them by the driveway with these. So we have this blueberry plant here, about 7 feet tall, and another one right there. Then I planted two more in front. Now those probably altogether we got maybe like a gallon of blueberries this year, and hopefully by transplanting some we'll get a bunch more next year. Along the driveway here are all Bradford pears. Now the Bradford pears you see here, that tiny little pea-sized pear, is all they bear fruit. So pretty much what they are is just an ornamental tree for the flowers. So Gabriel and I actually got seeds from a local pear that's really good fruit, and grew about, I think probably about 30. So we're gonna try grafting onto these, some of the fruit-bearing branches, but also just plant some of them too. This tree here is a really cool tree. It's called a mimosa tree, and it has these like Whoville type flowers. Plus it has some really cool just leaves too, almost like fern leaves or something. There's a few of them on the property, but this one's the biggest one. We've also planted a couple of grapevines. There's some wild grapes on the property too, but we wanted a couple of different kinds of grapes, so those are just starting out. It's another mimosa tree here. And along here is a whole bunch of bamboo. It's called like river cane. It's not really building bamboo. It only gets about maybe 7 feet tall or so. But the cows actually love eating it, and it's a perennial. Obviously, it's a grass, but also it's an evergreen, so it will keep its leaves in the winter, which is great for a barrier for our neighbors, but also some green grass, type green grass for the cows to eat. When we first moved in, one of Grace's friends gave us this elderberry bush, and we found out that elderberries are supposed to have at least two in order to actually have elderberries. But once we got the bush, I actually found that we had probably, I don't know, 10 or so elderberries on the property, so I moved another one over there. But there's a couple more things right in this area. When we moved in, it was just becoming fall, so a lot of the things were just losing their leaves, and we didn't really know until spring and summer that what we actually had. And this tree here, it's already done bearing fruit, but it is a mulberry tree. And mulberry trees, I learned a bit about them since we've gotten here. It's one of the things that I wanted on the property, and then we found out that that one was one, and then now I've been looking around, and we probably found a good 20 or so on the property, and they can grow up to like 30 or 40 feet tall. Given the right conditions, they can live over 100 years. So they're a really cool tree to have. I'm actually going to be doing a whole bunch of cuttings and make little bushes of them so that they're easier to get the fruit, because the fruit tastes so good. I had never had it before, and super excited about having a whole bunch more next year, hopefully, now that we know where they are and when they actually have their fruit. Mostly, so Gabriel made this trail, and mostly on it is just all the native stuff. Right here is something called a beautyberry bush, and it's another one of those things that I found out are all over the property. So you can make some different things like the elderberries. You don't just normally eat them, but you can make them into syrups or jellies, that type of thing. And that's exciting that we have so many. This section we don't have for any of our animals in particular. It's kind of just like a wooded section. This trail is kind of the perimeter of our property. So over there is not our property, but it's like 7 acres of something that no one's doing anything with at this point, so which is kind of cool. It's just some extra woods near us. And then over here is just some undeveloped woods, which we're going to kind of leave as is. But there's a whole bunch of beautyberries and mulberries I found over there. And all along the trail, we'll also find like this little bush here is another blueberry bush. And I think we're going to just leave these ones on the side as is, because we'll see as we clear out some more stuff, they might get more sun, and it's a lot of work to move all the blueberry bushes over. So besides this section of forest, we've been kind of transforming the rest of our property into pasture for the cows, but for the same reason, making kind of like a fruit forest. So we're going to be planting the pear trees, the mulberry trees. We've gotten some Arctic kiwis from a friend. Oh, and Chickasaw plums. We've gotten some of those that we're going to be planting. And so those are all new things we're going to be putting in the fields. And I got to find a good way to make it so the cows don't eat the baby trees. Once they're taller than the cows, and the cows aren't very big, about 42 inches. I think Sparky's our tallest, and that's how tall he is. Once we have them taller than that, it's not going to be a big deal, but getting them to that height is the tricky part, because the cows will eat a lot of the trees and stuff. Some of them. We have some persimmons, which persimmons make, spiderweb. Persimmons make these orange fruit in the fall. After it loses its leaves, it has all these orange fruit on it, and we have a whole bunch of them through here. They're all small. So in that whole area, it was completely forested when we came in. We've actually been clearing all of that and making these fences along the edge. That's been a major part of the last few months. And a a lot of the big trees were already kind of dying, and I believe it's because someone, maybe within the last 5 years or so, had goats on the property, and the goats just ate all the bark around the tree, which will end up killing everything above that. So I think a lot of the persimmons and even a lot of mulberries have died because of that reason. But we have some massive oak trees, you look up there, that I just love on the property. That's something that take so many years to grow, and it's so cool that we actually have them. So I started doing some research of North Carolina to see what type of trees do grow here, and something that came up was the pawpaws. It's supposed to be like a custard textured, somewhere between a pear and, I don't know, people describe it in a lot of weird ways, and only fruits for about 2 weeks. So unless you live around here, a lot of people have never had it. But I was looking it up, and at the same time I saw this tree that has humongous leaves, and found out that it is the pawpaw tree. So we have about, I don't know, 20 or so little ones. But once again, it needs to have 2 separate trees to make a pawpaw. And they will actually grow from their roots